Hey y'all, cooking, cutting up, keeping it real. The oven's ready. Mama Lisa's back in the kitchen. Today in my kitchen, I want to show y'all a really great basic cake recipe. It's called Happy Day Cake. And this recipe came to me through my mom, but it also came to her from a lady that went to our church years ago and who's gone on to be with the Lord. And she was a wonderful woman. Anyway, just know it's been around a long time, passed around in our community and now to my family. So, Happy Day Cake. I'm gonna mix that up, show y'all how I'm gonna do it. Y'all know it's nothing fancy, you know, but it's usually pretty delicious. That's all I can say, and that's not a bragging right. Just have a good recipe. It's like having a good hairdresser. You know, they're gonna give you a good cut, you know that. Anyway, Happy Day Cake. So Happy Day Cake, and I'm having to follow the recipe that my mom had given me because honestly, I've been looking for this recipe in my house for 2 days and I couldn't find it. Okay, so I'm gonna sift this flour. There's 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour in this bowl. I'm gonna add baking powder, 3 teaspoons. So if y'all love this recipe, grab a pen and a pencil and you can write it down, or you can rewind that, this video and see it as many times as you want, which is the nice thing about having a Facebook page because you can preserve it there. Anyway, maybe my boys will thank that when I'm going on to glory too. Anyway, Happy Day Cake. 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, okay? I have to reread it myself and hear myself say it so that I know that it's powder instead of soda. Because I've done that many a times. Many a times in the 30 years, almost 30 years that I've been married to a farmer. I have had some pretty interesting mishaps. Okay, I'm gonna set this to the side. And I'm also gonna add, while I'm here with my dry ingredients, I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay, now, let me put that to the side. Okay, and I'm gonna put this to the side. There we go. Listen, this is a working kitchen. You know, a lot of people are cooking a lot more because of quarantine and the pandemic. But when you live on a farm and you raise stuff and all that, this is the norm. So anyway, I'm a sweet freak, always have been. I think I probably came out of the womb liking pound cake. Just saying. Let me get this over here. Anyway, I have a huge sweet tooth. So of course I enjoy bacon and it's calming to me and I love it. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do 1 stick of butter, real butter. That's my cat. She'll walk back and forth. She won't jump up because I have a squirt bottle of water. And even if I just pick it up, she knows. Watch her do it while I'm doing this. Anyway, 1 stick of butter, softened, room temperature, plus 1 tablespoon of butter, softened to room temperature, okay? And I put this out this morning so that it would get to room temperature. So I'm gonna mix the butter. I'm trying to follow the instructions. I also have measured out 1 cup of milk. And I'll try to remember to repeat the whole recipe at the end. So that's 1 stick of butter at room temperature and 1 tablespoon in addition to that butter. Let's see, I'm sure you could use margarine if that's what you have, but I have butter, so I'm using butter. And honestly, I just like butter. 3 eggs, and how much sugar? 2 cups of white granulated sugar. Let me do that first. And I may not have 2 cups. Let's see how many I have. I have 1, but we're gonna make do. I have 1 and almost 3/4. Let me show y'all that. So I'm not trying to go to the store right now. So let me grab a little bit, I think, Yes, I do. I have some Truvia cane sugar blend, which is a stevia sweetener, and it's the bacon kind. Yeah, I'm just gonna add the rest of it in that, okay? Look, my farmers will never know the difference. They won't. So I'm gonna make this the second cup of sugar, but the recipe calls for 2 cups of granulated white sugar. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this up into position, and I'm gonna put this where I can see it, because I hadn't made this cake in a while. I do like to make it when we have fresh strawberries. And you know, coming up, raising my kids on a farm and all that, when things are coming in here, that's the kind of recipes you do. So it's strawberry season here. I'm gonna cream this. Meanwhile, while that creams, I had already cracked my 3 eggs and left them at room temperature, and I actually have them covered with cellophane. But anyway, I'm gonna put my vanilla flavoring in here, just because sometimes I forget it. And this calls for 1 teaspoon. So I'm gonna do a vanilla bean paste. That's what I have. I love that for baking, but you can use vanilla extract with this particular recipe. Now I'm gonna add in, let's see, add your butter, your milk, your beef. Oh, see, I've already screwed that up. What Mama said, or either write it down wrong. Anyway, I'm gonna roll with it. I'm gonna cream that. And then I'm gonna add 3/4 of my milk. 3/4 of the 1 cup that I measured this morning. This is 2% milk, but you use what you got. Listen, my mama is a great cook, but she's a very precise cook, and she doesn't dump cook like I do. Yeah. Okay. Mix that in. 3/4 milk. Beat in 2, oh Lord, beat for 2 minutes. Okay. You know what? Let me look at the clock. Okay. This says sift your dry ingredients, add your butter and 3/4 cup of your milk, and beat for 2 minutes. 2 whole minutes. 2 minutes don't sound like that long, but it is when you're waiting on a cake. I've got my oven set at 325. That's how we'll cook them there, okay? While that's doing that, I'll show you what pans I'm gonna try to use, okay? I was looking for this recipe, and I looked everywhere. And then today I was like, okay, I know I got one of these pans somewhere. And I dug it out, and guess what else I found? An old recipe box. And this recipe that I sweated my mama for is probably in that box. Listen, you can call it what you want to. You can call it 50 and hormonal, or you can call it Rona crazy, or just, I don't know. But it probably is in that box. I'm just saying. But this pan right here, I'm going to spray it with some cooking spray while that's mixing. And I'm going to try to talk louder because this mixes for 2 minutes. Anyway, hold this over the sink and spray it generously. And y'all, I'm going to be honest with you. I do a lot of cooking and a lot of cutting up and a lot of keeping it real. But I don't think I've ever used this pan. If I have, I don't remember. So, it's an experiment. But I thought they'd make cute little shortcakes to put strawberries over and then a little bit of whipped cream. And then I could freeze some of them. That was my thinking. Okay, 2 minutes is surely up, okay? So 2 minutes. And then we're going to add, let's see, add eggs and rest of milk. And there's my vanilla. And let me grab a spatula. I want to get all that vanilla in there. And she said the rest of the milk. Okay, I'm going to cut this down so I don't throw this all over the place. And then, okay, then I'm going to add my dry ingredients. Look, I'm trying to follow the recipe myself, okay? I lost it, and I found, anyway. I have that. Here it is. Okay. I'm going to grab a clean, there we go. This is what I measured it with. I'm going to put this in 1 cup at a time just so I don't make a huge mess. Because then I get to clean it up too. So I'm trying not to make a huge mess. Baking is therapeutic. I think maybe the hum of this and the clock ticking and the oven, I don't know. I don't know, but I like it. I normally try not to bake this time of day because it gets warm in here. Like, you know, spring and summer. I try to do it early in the morning or late at night, especially if it's canning or something. But anyway, we're in the COVID and in the pandemic and we're in the quarantine, so my schedule's just all whacked out. So I don't know. Sometimes you might see me in here in the middle of the night. It is what it is, right? Okay, last part. Oh Lord. Oh, my mama would never do that. Let's see. Let's do this. There we go. Okay. Let me put that to wash. And let me knock that down. Okay. Let me finish mixing this up. And then I'll go back over that recipe one more time in case you're writing. Or in case you want to write it down. And I'll try to speak slow. I am Southern, but sometimes I get squirrely and I'm talking real fast. Anyway. I'm going to clean the sides of this off and get all that down in there. And then I'm going to read that recipe back loudly so I can make sure that I covered all of my bases too. So Happy Day cake, 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 cups of white granulated sugar, 1 stick plus 1 tablespoon of butter at room temperature, 3 eggs at room temperature, large or fine, that's what I have. Let's see, 1 teaspoon of salt, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 cup of milk, whatever you have, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla, okay? So I got all that. So the recipe says to sift your dry ingredients, which I did, add your butter and 3/4 cup of the milk. Beat that for 2 minutes. Add the eggs and the rest of the milk and the vanilla and beat. And I probably missed where I put in the dry stuff, but this is how I'm doing it. We're going to roll with it, y'all, so I'm telling you. Okay. Now, last year during strawberry season, I looked everywhere for this recipe, couldn't find it. And I think I had a conversation with my mama about it, and then we got sidetracked onto something else. Shocker. And I never wrote it down, I don't think. But anyway, I had it years ago. I'm just glad I got it again, is what I'm saying. Because this is a good one. And actually, my mom was telling me that my brother's wife and my niece, they make this basic cake. They call it Happy Day cake too, but they make it for every occasion, you know, chocolate ice and whatever. So I figured it's a pretty good one. Yes, it will be. And for my picky farmer eaters, some of them don't like lemon in their pound cake. Let me move this. And so this don't have lemon. So maybe they'll all eat it and be happy about it. Now, I'm going to get my pan over here so y'all can see. I'm going to grab a ladle. I have one. That is clean. This is the keeping it real side of this vlog. people that don't cook a lot, you know, for whatever reason, they really don't realize if you cook from scratch how long it takes to set it up, measure it out, and all that. And sometimes they're intimidated by that, but look, if I can get it together, anybody can. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So I'm gonna take this batter, and I hope these don't stick, but now listen, I hadn't used this before, and so when I post pictures underneath this feed, I will show you, you know, if it's stuck, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna fill these about 2/3 full because they're gonna rise some. You can bake this cake in any size pan that you want. You will have to adjust your baking time. So you'll probably want to watch it, is what I'm saying. The original recipe was for a layer cake, 3-layer I think, or like a rectangular 13 by 9. Anyway, so you can do it a lot of different ways. And on this vlog, we've been doing a lot of different things, mixing it up because we are in quarantine, and you know, you use what you got and you ad lib, and it's kind of nice to have some, not shortcuts, but alternatives if you don't have every ingredient of a recipe. That's my thinking anyway. Okay, let me finish putting these in here, and I think I'll have enough batter to use these pans behind me as well. And guess what? I don't think I've ever used them either. You know, we've all been cooped up, and we've been going through pictures and recipes and all that stuff that you do in your house besides home improvements. You know, that's a whole nother ball of wax. But I found this pan and these other 4 I'm gonna show you in a minute. I found them in the back of the drawer, and I had forgotten I had them, to be honest. I know that sounds like I'm getting really old or senile, but they were just hidden from me, and I get to using the same ones, and the same ones are to the front from being washed, and I don't know. So we'll see how this turns out. Now, last week or the week before, I did pound cake in a mason jar, and I think you can do this happy day cake in a mason jar easily the same way. I know I'm a little noisy, but I want that to go down, those little bunts. And I'm gonna put this to the side, and then I'm gonna bring these over that I found also, and they looked clean, but I'm gonna wipe mine out too. I mean, look, this is for my family anyway, but I do like to use clean washcloth, clean everything. I don't think I've ever made any of my members of my family sick, except maybe mentally, because I'm a mama and I get on their nerves sometimes. I do. I know I do. Okay, those look good. I'm gonna spray these. These are little springform pans. So this will be interesting. Listen, you learn something new every day. And if you're like me, you won't learn it until you try it. And most of the times, the lessons I learned that I really remember are the ones that I got in trouble for. Just saying. Okay, that's empty. And I've got another one. Got a stash. Okay, I'm gonna spray these liberally, because if I was gonna make cheesecakes in these, I would want them sprayed really well. So maybe they'll pop out with no trouble. Now with this one, I am going to use a little bit of flour to dust them with. And I'm just, listen, there's nothing fancy about this kitchen, so, you know, you can put it through a sifter, or you can have a little shaker or whatever of flour, if you like that. And I mean, I do sometimes, but sometimes I just want to get it done and get out of this kitchen, okay? Especially this time of year. All right, over my sink, I'm just kind of patting that, you know, moving it around like this and then patting it around, okay? I know you can't see over here, but I don't have a film crew, so you're just gonna have to trust me that I'm doing it over my sink, so I can rinse it all down and hopefully not have the sink clog up during the Rona. Anyway, not really. I can blame it on the boys. They've been in here cooking too. There's always somebody to blame. Okay, on these, we finished this. Okay, there we go. Let's see how much batter I have left after this. I may have to pull out some muffin tins or something. Anyway, let's just roll with this, because I don't want them to run over in my oven. And what I'll probably do is put this on a cookie sheet, or put a cookie sheet under it, just so I don't have to clean that oven again. I've done my share of that during this COVID virus, I got to tell you. And even though my oven is self-cleaning, it is still a pain in the rear end, okay? Let me just say that. Okay, I'm about, let me switch these. Sometimes when I watch my baking videos back, especially, I do my mouth just like my mama does. Like I watched her when I was a little girl and she did her mouth, she'd go like that. And I do it too. You know, some things are environmental, some things are genetic. I would think that came from watching her bake. Anyway, I was very fortunate to have a lot of women in my family that were strong women, and they could cook and keep it all together and garden and raise kids and all that, you know, inspiration. Okay, so that is how I'm gonna put them in the oven. I'm gonna lick my fingers, yes I am, and I'm gonna grab a cookie sheet, slowly but surely. Lord. Oh. Okay. Sorry, listen, I'm one of those people, you're gonna hear me everywhere I go. It's an issue sometimes. But even when I swung a softball bat years ago, I grunted. I did. Anyway, I'm gonna put these in a 325 degree oven. And for me, I'm gonna set my timer for like 15 minutes, so I'll come back and check them. And I'm gonna put those in the same oven as these, okay? But I will show you a picture of that as it comes out. Happy day cake. Happy days are here again. Oh, happy day cake. See ya.